The man who walked into a bar and never walked out. The Brian Shaffer mystery. Columbus, Ohio, March 31st, 2006. It was the start of spring break, and for 27-year-old Brian Shaffer, life was supposed to be good. He was a second-year medical student at Ohio State University, bright, well-liked, and had a serious girlfriend he planned to propose to soon. That Friday night, Brian made plans to go out drinking with his best friend, Clint Florence. He had just finished his exams, and a night of bar hopping seemed like the perfect way to celebrate. By the next morning, Brian Shaffer would be nowhere to be found. He didn't answer his phone. He didn't come home. And when police checked the security footage from the bar he was last seen in, they found something terrifying. Brian was recorded walking inside, but there was no footage of him ever walking out. A vanishing act. Brian and Clint started their night at a few bars before heading to Ugly Tuna Saloon, a popular college hangout on the second floor of a building near campus. They arrived around 1:15 a.m., and after a few drinks, they met up with Clint's friend Meredith. At 1:55 a.m., security cameras captured Brian standing outside the bar talking to two women. He seemed completely normal, laughing, relaxed. Then he turned and walked back into the bar. That was the last time anyone ever saw him. The mystery of the missing exit. When the bar closed at 2 a.m., Clint and Meredith searched for Brian but couldn't find him. They assumed he had gone home alone, but when Brian's girlfriend, Alexis, tried calling him the next day and got no answer, she knew something was wrong. She called his family, his friends, his classmates. Nobody had seen or heard from him. By Monday morning, Brian officially became a missing person, the impossible footage. When police reviewed the bar's security footage, they expected to see Brian walking out with the crowd, but he never did. The cameras covered every entrance and exit. Every single person who entered that bar was seen leaving, except Brian. There was only one way in and one way out, both covered by surveillance. The only other exit was a back door leading to a dangerous construction site, an area filled with debris, drop-offs, and locked gates. If Brian had gone out that way, he would have set off alarms, but no alarms went off. If he had fallen or gotten injured, his body would have been found, but there was nothing. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. The theories, what really happened to Brian Shaffer. For almost 20 years, people have been trying to figure out how a grown man could vanish from a bar without a trace. 1. The perfect disappearance. Some believe Brian staged his own disappearance. Maybe he wanted to escape his life and start over. Maybe he was overwhelmed by stress. His mother had just passed away from cancer weeks earlier. Maybe he found a way out of the bar that no one noticed and left town for good. But this theory doesn't make sense. Brian had no history of depression or suicidal thoughts. His bank account and credit cards were never touched again. His passport was left at home. He couldn't have left the country. He had a girlfriend he planned to marry. Why would he leave her behind without a word? If Brian truly ran away, he pulled off one of the greatest disappearances in modern history. 2. The tragic accident, a death covered up? Another theory is that Brian somehow died inside the bar and his body was hidden. Maybe there was a fight that went too far. Maybe he had an accident and someone covered it up. But there are problems with this theory too. The police searched the bar thoroughly. There was no sign of foul play. If the bar staff had hidden a body, someone would have cracked after all these years. Still, some believe the bar owners might have concealed something that night, especially since Ugly Tuna Saloon shut down years later. 3. The abduction theory, a sinister fate? Some believe Brian was abducted right outside the bar. Maybe he met someone at the bar who lured him into a trap. Maybe he was forced out through the back exit and taken away. Maybe he became the victim of a serial killer. But again, there were no reports of a struggle. His phone was never found. And most disturbingly, no one saw a thing. If he was kidnapped, it was done so perfectly that there were zero clues left behind. The final clue, a call from the grave? Months after Brian's disappearance, something bizarre happened. His cell phone rang. For a brief moment, his girlfriend saw his name appear on her caller ID. She answered, no response. The call disconnected. When police traced the signal, it pinged off a cell tower 14 miles away, but they found nothing. Some say it was a glitch. Some say it was someone using his phone. And some believe it was Brian himself trying to reach out. The case remains unsolved. To this day, Brian Shaffer's disappearance remains one of the strangest missing person cases in history. No body, no evidence, no last goodbyes. One moment, he was there. The next, he was gone forever. Some say he ran away. Some say he was murdered. And some believe something even darker happened that night. But the truth, no one knows, and maybe we never will.